Hi, this is Yona Weiss, and I want to tell you about Amy Sylvis's LinkedIn Capital Raising Secrets course. Even though I've been an expert in using LinkedIn for 5 years or so, I've never really used it for capital raising. That's where Amy's course came in. It's incredible. If you are looking to increase your reach, connect with more people, find more investors, I highly recommend this course for you. Amy has put together something spectacular, and even someone like me who has been using LinkedIn and helping people use LinkedIn and grow their account and grow their reach, I learned a ton of tremendous practical tips to help me with capital raising as well. So check it out.
Raising capital for real estate investors community. Welcome to another guest episode. I'm really thrilled today to welcome Don Goff. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, and have him introduce himself. But y'all, about I think it's 8 years ago now, he
Yeah.
was my very first real estate coach. He set me up for the success that I've had today. The systems, the processes, making sure I knew how to underwrite, network, do market research, all of these things. I am where I am today because of this man right here. And now I get to have him on my podcast episode. Don, what a joy. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for the kind introduction. What
Oh,
I always say, the coach is only as good as the student, Amy. I mean, you go out there and do all the hard work. I'm just giving guidance at the end of the day. So I obviously appreciate all your kind words, but you
yeah.
went out there and really worked it. You were very coachable. You implemented, which a lot of people struggle in every area of this business. It's
Yeah.
one thing to be educated, but to go out there and implement, that's the key of learning, right? I'm sure that's where you learned the most. You get a good foundation with the education, but you learned the most from implementing.
Well, you're humble as always, my friend, but thank you for setting me up for success. And if you would have told me 8 years ago that I'd have the honor of having my coach on my podcast, I wouldn't have believed you. So thanks again for taking the time. This
Hey,
is
listen, you don't know what it means to me, right? That's why I coach. I've coached hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, probably over 2,000 at this point.
wow.
And the reality is there's a small percentage of success. And it's not because of the program. It's because different things happen where people don't take action or they're not coachable. They're not setting their business hours. There's a lot of different reasons. So
Mm,
we have a ton of success. Don't get me wrong. There's thousands of people over the last 20 years I've coached.
yeah.
But the reality is, you got to go out there and do it and be coachable and implement what you're learning.
I love it. Well, tell us if folks don't know who you are, they need to know who
Sure.
you are. So tell
Okay.
us a bit about you, please, Don.
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, I'm in this little tiny state of Rhode Island. You might be able to tell by my accent a little bit, right? I get that a lot. So
Yeah.
I'll joke around and tell people, like, and I'm speaking in Texas, I'll say I have my cowboy boots on. I go, I don't want to confuse you. I'm really not from Texas, right? So, but yeah, from that little tiny state of Rhode Island, started real estate over 20 years ago, flipping properties, single family homes, and really was doing wholesaling and then got into the flipping and rehabbing the properties because my mentor said to me, "Hey, you want to get out of corporate America? Can you raise money?" Right? What we had to talk about today. And we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have access to money, and we've already been talking to people. He said, "Stop wholesaling all your deals. Getting a deal is a challenge and takes a lot of time. Keep them instead of wholesaling three and keeping one. Keep three and wholesale one. So you're making the big checks on the back end." And so, long story short, shortly after, I've known him for a while, got into the apartments, took his apartment program, learned more about apartment, built a relationship with him. Then he asked me to be one of his first two coaches for his coaching program back in 2006.
Woo.
And I was coaching for him ever since. So I never thought I'd be a coach, never had the intention to be a coach. I actually quit the first 3 to 5 years because I said earlier, people didn't implement. I almost quit because it's hard. Anything new, a little hard, right? And it was hard because I put all the responsibility on me. And until my business coach, not my real estate mentor, but one of my friends who's a business coach said, "Hey, listen, you're teaching them in the same way. These people are having success. And, it's about leaving people in a better place than you found them before they met you." Right. And which was profound. It totally changed my whole coaching career
Yeah.
because I beat myself up because this one, I was giving 150% and they weren't having success.
Yeah.
And that's when, but anyway, long story short, that's what that's really transformed me and to be a better coach and to then love coaching when I saw people like Amy and people before Amy have success and what they're doing, it's the biggest gratification you can have as a coach. So if you get coached by anyone, let them know when you have success. I always tell people that now, please let me know because that's what keeps me going. There's no industry that's all sunshine and rainbows. So it's, a lot of times people are struggling to get started with something because it's new. So that you're constantly helping people do that. And so when you hear people the success like Amy's, it's wonderful. It's rejuvenating and it's exciting. And, to just see people go out there and do that. So anyway, where I am right now, I still coach and I also raise money for multifamily properties. I took some time off from the industry as I was coaching. I have multiple businesses. And then about 2 years ago, I started investing again myself. And I ended up partnering with some people that I coached about a little bit before Amy, like
Yep.
I think it was 11 or 12 years ago. And yeah, so I raise money with them. And that's the beauty of the business. You don't have to do the whole thing, right, Amy? You can do pieces of it and collaborate and be part of a team depending on where you're at. So that's where I'm at now. I'm still coaching. I have underwriting is my expertise. I was an engineer before. So I'm a next level underwriting program that I do where I help people get to the next level with that. And then I raise money. So it's all synergistic together, right,
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah. Outstanding. What a journey. I mean, especially not even
Oh,
expecting to coach, but stepping into those opportunities. That's what I've learned from you, the multitude of things I've learned from you.
mm,
But sometimes opportunities come and you step into them. So
yeah.
I feel that you really like, and oh gosh, I don't know about capital. I'm going to step into that. Or coaching, I need you to help teach these folks. I'm going to step into that. You might be shocked at what you're good at, the impact that you can have,
Yeah.
how much you can help people. So I love that.
Yep.
Really, really great. So stepping back into the capital raising space and
Yes.
investing space over the past 2 years, how much have things changed from, where you left them?
Yeah, they changed quite a bit. I used to do a lot of things. It was all face to face when I first started. And so there was a lot more in person interaction. And now I do a lot of social media. It's a leverage. I don't network as much as I used to. I'm not as want to get out there and go out at night and network as much as I
Yeah.
wanted to. And that's the beauty is you can do either one. But there's people that are scared out there more now than they were before. And just because of the state of the economy or what's going on in the world, right? There's some uncertainty behind people's mind. So we definitely have some of that going on. But the reality is I love hard assets, right, Amy? It's something I can feel and touch. That's why I got involved in multifamily or any type of real estate
Yeah.
in the first place, is because if people are scared, I said there's no better option than that because people need a place to live.
Yeah.
They need a place to live. And as long as obviously there's certain things you want to look for and people you want to partner with. But yeah, that's the main thing is I think people are a little more scared now. You have to talk to more people than you might have had to before to find an investor that wants to move forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I remember when you were coaching me during
Hmm.
COVID,
Yeah.
and I don't know, there was this thing called Facebook that I was so resistant. I was having none of it. And I had this coach named Goff that just relentlessly pushed me to get on social media. And little did I know how
Yeah.
useful that would be. So I want to make sure to start off by giving you tremendous credit and highlighting to the audience the benefits of working with a coach, because sometimes they see things that you don't, or they've got experience. And I am a prime example of really resisting social media. And this man right here was like, hey, this is something you must do. And I so grateful I followed your footsteps and your
Well,
advice.
you really deserve royalties, okay? Because believe me, you're not the first and you're not the last, but you were the most impactful, I would
Ah,
say. You were. I mean, going on and because I really don't, if you looked at what I post on social media, you'd think I love social media. I really don't. Yeah, I love it for business purposes and stuff, but I wouldn't be on it quite as much.
yeah.
Okay. I do like to catch up friends and see that, but I wouldn't be on it nearly as much if it wasn't for business. Just such a great resource to reach a large amount of people. And that's what I had said to Amy. I remember having the conversation, say, just get on the private pages to start. We
Yeah.
even have one on our private Facebook page for the company we're with, where I actually told someone, glad you remind me, is actually Monday. I told someone I was going to tag them in the post that we had or that we put you might have put on there
It's still there.
because I was explaining to them the importance of it just to connect with people within the own community, right? You don't have to be on the whole Facebook.
Yes.
but at least get into the private groups where, because just like going to a live event, not the same, obviously, but you know what I mean? It's a private group, the content in that group, the connections you can make in that group. And the reason you make connections and, part of, well, the reason you make connections is because of the consistency,
Yes.
right? When you're
Yeah.
part of a group, whether you're going live every month to a real estate club meeting or another type of meeting, or you're going in that page, people start to get to know your name, right?
Yes. That's exactly what you told me. And you were spot on and then some. So
Yeah, you took it to a whole new level. I told that to hundreds and hundreds of people, and now you're like Facebook and social media queen. And there's nothing more beneficial or more gratifying, I should say, than seeing a student surpass you. It's like your kids almost, right? You want
right.
your kids to always do better than you. And
Yeah.
Amy like blew by me with all the social media. I'm watching. I'm like, oh my god, she does all this amazing things, and inspired me
Wow.
to. I've been doing more social in the past year and a half than I did in the last 10 years,
Good for
and she
you.
was one of my inspirations. So it's so wonderful having your students
Ah.
or clients or colleagues, I should say now, when they're inspiring you to be better.
That's why you have coaches. That's why I have coaches.
Yeah.
That's why everyone should, because that's how you go further faster. So speaking of which,
Yes.
we typically structure this where we have our guests bring questions. I know you're active in this space. You talk to your students as a coach yourself about capital raising.
Yeah.
What can we sink our teeth into on this episode to add value to you, anyone else who's listening? Kind of what's
Yes.
on your mind in the capital raising space?
Yeah. Well, I always get the question of how do I raise capital? I always have friends and family. How do I do that outside friends and family?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important because that's what I heard when I first got started is it's the friends and family. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. I'm going to name a few and we'll see where that leads to. But Chamber of Commerce. So first of all, you want to be where there's money, right? You want people that have actually not disposable income. That's not the word I'm looking for, but income, like maybe they could buy a second home and so forth, but they have that extra to invest, and everyone has money to invest. So let me be crystal clear. Most people have a 401k. People have money. They're investing in something. CD can be even a CD. They have money. They're investing in something. And all we're doing is giving them an option, right?
Mhm.
So what do you want to do? So someone had told me at the beginning, there was a book, How to Marry the Rich. How to Marry the Rich. Now, to be honest, I never got the book, but it really sat in my brain when I was starting out in real estate because it was like, how do you find the rich people, right? If you want to marry them. Well, I didn't want to marry them, but I want to raise money with people that had money, right? Is
Right.
because they need to have money to be able to invest. So anyway, Chamber of Commerce, that's one of them. Why? So always, I always like to get into the whys, and I drive some
Mm.
of my clients nuts because, especially my ones that are in my program, because they hear it every time I have a
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
But it's so important to have context, right? So Chamber of Commerce, why would you want to go there? You want to go there because there's business owners. There's people that are more apt or more open to invest because they're entrepreneurs. They're out there doing, they might have had to raise money for their own business. So they don't have your traditional 401k. So their retirement account, they can actually bring into one of your deals because a normal 401k that's active at your company, you can't use to invest in real estate if it's active and your company's contributing. So there's two major reasons for it. So we're trying to go and we're trying to give ourselves the best chance for someone to say yes, right?
Mm.
We want to put as many odds in our favor as possible. So Chamber of Commerce is one great place because of the other business owners there. They're part of a community. They know other business owners that you can get connected to as well. So even if some people there, and you don't have to get everybody, all you need is one or two. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Any networking event you go to, you get one or two people that are interested or invest with you. Now you have access to the rest of the group because they're going to champion what you're doing.
Mm.
So I'd say that's one of them. Another one's charitable organizations, especially if you
Mm.
see some young people there. And you always want to be aligned. I'm not saying go to something, to a charitable organization just to go to if you don't believe in it. Go to something you believe in. It's good to do. You feel good. You're donating your time, but it is a place where you can meet other people that they make the time to go. It's important to them. And if you see people there during the day, especially if you can go during the day and they're in their 30s and 40s, well, they probably not have a job. They probably might be
Mm.
even retired. They might have inherited money. Who knows? So again, you spark up conversations. It's gonna be a solution at the end of the day
Yeah.
that you're providing them, right? An option for them. So we're not gonna just go in and start talking to them all private money and ask them what they want to invest. No, we're going there because we believe in what the group or what the charitable organization represents. And we're gonna get to know people because we're gonna go more than once, right? We're gonna go in that consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next one I would say is private golf clubs. Anything private's great to go to for the same reasons over and over. That you're going. You go every time you go, they get to know you a little bit more. It's all about relationships. and so forth. So when I say private clubs, it can be different things. So Amy taught me something, football, right? Football. She loves her football, right? And, she gets excited about it, her alumni. And so she's private, right? She has a group that she meets with. She has a stand she sets up, or that might not be the right word, but
Yeah.
so excuse me, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean? A
Yeah.
booth, and she's seeing the same people every week, and they share the same passion together. Doesn't have to be football, it can be baseball, it can be anything. I'm just trying to give you examples to start thinking, to start opening your mind. So
Yeah.
that'd be three. Another good one is Toastmasters, because I know some of you might be shy, you might not want to talk to people, but you're fine. You're fine speaking in front of people. My mentor, my real estate mentor, both of ours, that with the coaching program, he's an introvert. He could speak in front of 40,000 people, but one on one, he struggled, or not struggled, but that wasn't what he enjoyed in starting conversation. And he'll even admit that. But so I couldn't believe it when I found out he's an introvert, because he spoke in front of 40,000 until I really understood what an introvert was. But so Toastmasters, great way. Again, what are you doing? You're going there to improve yourself, to speak better, to get comfortable with speaking. And at the same time as there's 10 or 15 people in the audience, right? Then now you're passively sharing what you do to pique interest. And I'll say one more, and then we'll move on. I don't want to take up the whole call with all
Yeah.
the different ways, but then I would say social media. Obviously, we talked about that earlier. It's
Yes.
and the reason is it covers so many. You can be in so many different groups. It's leverage, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, and you can just share what you're doing with people. It's beautiful because you reach so many. Just share what you don't have to, market to people, at first. You can just put out there, hey, I'm going to see a property. I'm doing this. Let people know what you're doing. So, but I'll let Amy, she'll get into that. And, obviously some of you are already following her. She's really an expert in that area. But social media, I have found to be a very powerful tool as well.
Love it. Those are really, really great examples. For your students and yourself, what method have you found to really generate the most leads or the most capital to raise? Which one of those five that you mentioned?
Well, I would say I would go back to the clubs and the
Okay.
network, your colleagues in your network that you already have credibility in. Let's face it, we all go through high school, in college. You might have too much fun during college or high school. And that's what all your friends there remember you for, right? The friends and family. But
Yeah.
when you get out there into the business world, like I have a big real estate network, I coached for 20 years.
Yeah.
So for me, that's one of my biggest ways that I'm able to raise, because I had a connection with them. I coached them, they saw who I was within the community. And it doesn't have to be that. At your job or previous jobs you had, your colleagues know you're a performer or you have good credibility. So I would say that's been the number one way. And then the number two way I would say is social media,
Yeah.
because you can reach so many people, going to come to you. It's attraction marketing, right? And now they're coming to you, and it's just as easy as, and this is how I have my students start out now. Just post something like that you went to a property or you went to an educational event, because a lot of people don't know that even what you're doing that you haven't talked to in 10 years. You don't have to call them or whatever. They're probably going to call you and say, oh my, what are you doing out in Phoenix? Or if they might even live there and say, come visit me while you're out here. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stack on this, Don, because
Yeah.
I love what you say. So we think of, and we teach in my course about funnels, right? And so capital raising is a funnel, it's a sales funnel. And we think about how we find people, right? Kind of the lead generation. And then there's this nurture segment. So I love that you bring up, you may be meeting new people at one of these clubs or at the Chamber of Commerce or at a charity event. But what happens if you meet them once? How do you nurture them? And social media can be quite an incredible,
Yes. Great
right?
point, Amy. That's a
Yeah.
great point.
Yeah. So you don't have to constantly be in their face having one-on-one conversations. Nothing wrong with that. Those are great. But what I do at football games is, oh, by the way, here's my LinkedIn. USC is very set up for networking. So we're very fortunate there. But saying, let's connect over LinkedIn is not kind of an outrageous thing to say. And then guess what? They're getting dripped information over and over, day after day, that I'm
Yeah.
posting, and they're developing a relationship with me and I'm not even present.
I
So
know.
what
That's
is
beautiful.
Yes.
Uh,
So I would encourage folks to follow exactly what Don said about, meeting people and being in the right places and, attracting the right people. But then how do we get them from, oh, I'm really interested in what Don's doing, to, dude, I need to wire some money to this deal. There's a big education gap or relationship, know, like and trust gap that social media often can satisfy. So I just wanted to stack on your really good ideas.
That, and I'm going to stack on you now, okay?
Okay.
Because that reminded me, because again, we forget sometimes, we get so much going on. But
Yeah.
what I would say, I would even go to this level, Amy, and say it's even more important to ask someone if they're on LinkedIn or Facebook, and if they are, to connect with them on there, then give a business card. Would you
Yes.
agree?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Yes, very well said. And here's the other wild thing, and I encourage everyone right now, take a second, Google your name. I mean, if your name is John Smith, this probably won't work as much. But about 80% of people, when they Google their name, if you don't have a wildly kind of, super common name, the top 2 or 3 results that are going to come up isn't going to necessarily be your personal website. It's going to be your LinkedIn profile. So that is your business card. People want to know you, figure out if you're legit, what you're all about. So that's a great tip in terms of the business card and, connecting on social media. So boom.
Again, another great reminder. You had mentioned to me back when I had taken your course about that, and something that just slipped my mind. So it was good for me because I knew it was on mine, something I forgot to mention to my students along the way, to say how powerful that really is to have that show up at number one. I didn't know that until you shared it with me. I was not on LinkedIn. I was not on LinkedIn. I got out of corporate America in the early January 2005. So when it first started taking off,
Yep.
and I just didn't need it with the industry. I
Yeah.
only started getting really back into it when I took Amy's course. I got Amy's course. And I'm serious. I
Wow.
had the conversation with you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to at least pay a lot more attention to it. I started doing some things on there. But anyway, yeah. So it is when you can search it. That's powerful because most people are going to look you up, right, Amy?
They are. Because I
Good. They
mean,
should.
Don, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but when I first heard about passive real estate investing, I'm like, there's no way this is legit. I haven't heard about this. I have a fancy MBA.
Yeah.
Surely someone like me with my educational background would know of this. So you hear of something, you're trying to figure out why you haven't been exposed to it. It sounds like a great answer to financial freedom, financial independence, buying back your time. So you're going to try to dive deeper into it. And part of that investigation is going to be, who the heck is this person that's talking about this?
I did the
Was
same
your
thing with
experience like that?
self-directed IRAs.
Yes.
Self-directed IRAs. I'm like, this can't be legal.
Right. Yeah. There's no way I would have heard about that. Surely Wall Street wouldn't ever lie to us, Don. So,
Oh, come
yeah.
on.
Or hide something. Yeah. So that's a really good point. Was that your experience though? At
Yeah.
first, you kind of went through this research, process.
Always, and I highly recommend it now. But you'd be surprised sometimes what you find. Whether you're picking a sponsor or whatever. Anyone you're going to do any type of business with, look at their LinkedIn, look at their Facebook, do a Google search,
Yeah.
10 to 15 minutes. I'm not saying hours and hours, right? Just
Yeah.
because to see, kind of, you get a little bit of a feel for who someone is.
That makes sense. So Don, what else? What other questions are either you struggling with, with your capital raising? Not you're struggling, but that
Yeah.
you're kind of wondering, or maybe even your students that you hear. What else can we cover to help folks?
Hey, listen, it doesn't matter how much experience we have. There are areas we do struggle or we need reminders of. That's why I love having these conversations, because now it's getting all back in my head and
Yeah.
front and center, because we do have so much going on. So no matter what level of success you have, that's really, really good. But I would say, a question I commonly get is about real estate clubs, because most people, it's a great place to be for people that want to be entrepreneurs. There's a lot of naysayers out there. There's, about it being an entrepreneurial, buying multis. Oh, I bought a 3-family property and my cousin and brother-in-law and I lost my shirt. Well, they didn't tell you they bought in a war zone. They didn't tell. So, but anyway, so the real estate's so good, but a lot of multifamily anyway investors, or maybe commercial, will poo-poo go into it because, oh, there's all single family people there. When I first started, I raised a lot of money at my local real estate club meetings. So how do you do it? How can you successfully do it? Because I have some people that do like going there and just say, well, but I want to make value of going. It is great going. I get to understand. I'm meeting inspectors and learning some stuff. But so again, at a real estate club, there's people there, they're entrepreneurial. They're trying to get either passive income or flipping properties, make more money. They're more open to everything. Most people there are raising money for single family person, great. For multis, they're going to want to put their own money in their own deals for the singles. So what you want to say to someone like that, right, Amy? We want to say, hey, have you and your spouse changed jobs in the last 5 to 7 years? Right? It's a great way to talk to people. Say, hey, you're just having a conversation because you did get to know anyone and ask that. And they say, yeah, why? They're going to want to know why you ask that. And come on, most people are changing jobs every 3, 5 years, maybe not even 7.
Yes.
It's because they have an old 401k. sitting there. I had one that I didn't touch for a while when I left my corporate job, right?
Yeah.
And I knew I could do something with it. It's just changing habits and doing things. We just let it sit. So anyway, if you want to effectively do that there to raise money at a real estate club meeting, don't worry about it's all single family. Look at the positive. Look at what they do have. Look at the value it does have because you are going to learn a lot of different things and you're going to learn from that. Even if you're just investing passively, you're going to learn stuff from people there about real estate and risk and
Mm.
mitigating risk because real estate's all about mitigating risk. And then, but ask those questions when you're having conversation. One little change, add that to your conversation. They'll ask why. Because why? The self-directed IRA that we were talking about earlier, and I found about solo 401ks about 3 years ago that's I use now.
Yeah.
But a self-directed is, great vehicle, right? No one knows they can, or most people, I didn't when I started, know that you can invest in real estate through a self-directed IRA. Their money's sitting there. They might want to diversify. If they're just sitting there and they're not paying attention to it, they might be making 5 or 7% return, right? Where if they take a portion of that, they don't have to take all of it and put it into something with you, or if you're raising money, then they can potentially make a higher return or at least be diversified.
Brilliant. That I love that mindset shift on. And you're always so good at that where, hey, just because something seems a certain way at face
Mm.
value, what if you look at it from a different angle? What if you change, put on a different set of glasses and think, well, right? But it's like, oh, they're all single family people. Da, da, da. Yeah, maybe that's a gold mine. Maybe you're thinking about it from a limiting belief, and there's
Yeah.
actually a ton of potential. I love your ability to shift our perspective and show us where the opportunity is where other people may just not see it. I think that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Well, it's just coaching. It's experience. It's something that I experienced myself, and I was fortunate. I was already doing single family when I was
Yeah.
there. So I had the experience of doing both and I raised money for single families. But as I was doing it, people I found out no one wants to invest with me for these multis.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I found out about the self-directed and I said, well, it's very hard for someone to invest in their own deal with self-directed. So why
Yeah.
don't I start finding out what's a good way for me to find out if they might want to use that? Because they understand real estate. They might want passive. So it kind of just happened. But that's why, you want to be around people. I learned something very early on. Don't listen to the people that haven't had success. Be around all the people that have had success or listen to them. You can check on what they're saying, but listen to them and take their advice because they've probably seen things, or if they've been successful, they're doing things, like you said, the mindset thing that other people aren't doing. Because a lot of other people are saying, I'm not going to my local real estate club meeting because there's only single family people there.
Mm. Yeah. Success leaves clues, right?
Yeah, there
Not,
you
I
go.
can't do it, but how can I do it? I think that's,
How? How?
yeah.
You just said it right there. I always said that. Let's not think can't, think how. And I always go back. I love Think and Grow Rich, and I've been part of this mastermind of doing that. So powerful. I read the book. I got something out of it. I mean, so much more out of it. Things are coming in every which way now. They were decent before, but even better now with that mindset. But that's the whole thing is that you have to get out there. You have to be doing things and focusing on those positive things.
Brilliant. Have you read the book, The Go Giver by Bob Berg, Don?
I didn't, but since you're recommending it, I'm going to.
Yes.
You'll
Okay.
give
So
her.
I've had him on my
I'm
other
writing it down.
podcast. I'm
Yeah.
going to have him on this one.
Oh,
So
great. Let me
it,
know.
yeah, it aligns perfectly though, Don, with what you were saying about these local real estate meetups. This idea of how can we be go-givers? What can we do to give without any expectation of receiving something back? Now, it doesn't mean you're a doormat. That doesn't mean,
That's
you're a
right.
lapdog, but it does mean, hey, maybe you build, you volunteer at, to do a presentation or to help with setup. And you never know in these in-person events who you might build a relationship with. People start to see you consistently, showing up there. Then they become curious about what you're doing. They hear you talk, they hear your mindset. People are attracted to you. Just finding ways to, solve problems or give to others. It might sound overly simplistic, but my goodness, just like Think and Grow Rich, it is what I consider to be a powerful law of the universe that if you
It
give,
really is a
you will
it's a mind
receive.
abundance and a mind opening.
Yes.
Listen, we even see it with each other.
Yeah.
You've helped me in different ways, and sometimes you have different collaborations. You don't know what's going to happen down the line, so you put your best foot forward. You help each other out the
Yep.
best you can, and then the other person's always in the back of mind because the law of reciprocity is real. If
Yes.
someone helps you, generally, most I do anyway. I know you're the same way. You want to help them back, and,
Why not?
somehow whenever you have a chance or you're in their mind, how could I help this person because they helped me? And I love that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I definitely want to get on that. And I didn't poo poo it before, and I knew it was important. my mind might not have been ready. I had so much going on, but now that I'm getting more and more into it, it's amazing when you make these little shifts. Whew, I can't even tell you. It's, because it's unbelievable.
I'm with you. Some of these things, I'm from California, so people are like, oh, the California girl's talking about this hocus pocus, mindset woo woo stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'll own it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But no, you're
It
absolutely
works.
right.
Yeah, no, it works, man. I'm an engineer. I'm about details. I want to see it. I don't need to see everything anymore. Now that things start happening, like, how did this happen? Why they call me now? I've known to him 10 years and things just start happening. I'm just like, all right. And I told the guy that I'm doing it with, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm blown away.
Hey, let's have a quick talk. Have you noticed that the capital raising game has completely changed over the past couple of years? Are you a syndicator, a fund manager, a capital raiser that's struggling to attract investors beyond friends and family, and it's just become so difficult to raise enough money for your deals? Are you losing out on incredible real estate deals that are now showing up in the market because you're not confident that you can raise enough money from your investors to take down those deals? Or worse yet, are you even considering having to throw in the towel on your real estate business and go back to your W-2 because you're struggling to get those deals done due to lack of capital? This is why I created LinkedIn Capital Raising Secrets. It's a course where I teach you my proven 4-step system to turn strangers on LinkedIn to investors in your real estate deals. We teach you how to hack the LinkedIn algorithm so your target investors see your content, learn from you, like you, trust you, and invest with you. And that is just the beginning of what you'll learn. LinkedIn has over 1 billion users who are looking to grow their wealth, and you have a fantastic opportunity to tap into high net worth individuals to invest in your real estate deals. So in this 8-week on-demand course, we teach you how to find qualified leads and turn them into investors in your deals without feeling like a pushy used car salesman. Oof. So how do you sign up? Go to capitalraisingsecrets.com now and click apply. Fill out our application and see if you're a good fit for the course. We want to make sure that we can help you. And our course will show you how to raise millions and millions of dollars of capital from complete strangers compliantly on LinkedIn, just like I've done, so you don't have to worry about falling short on a raise again. Visit capitalraisingsecrets.com and click apply now to get more information. So cool. Well, that was a great tip. I think we've got time for one more question, Dom. What else do you think?
Yeah, well, I'd like to, if we have time, to share a couple of things, but if we don't, that's okay too.
Of course. Yeah.
But I get asked a lot, what's the single most important factor to consider when you're raising capital for a deal?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Do you want to take it first and then I'll
Yeah.
stack? Okay.
Sure, I love it.
Yeah.
So it's the operator. It's not the deal. A lot of people think it's the deal. It's not. Anyone can put anything on paper.
Yeah.
And everything looks good. You might see, oh, this is a 28% return versus 20, right? And it gets your juices flowing and you think you want to do that, or it's a better deal because it's more upside.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're going to hit the numbers.
Right.
Right. And what I found is along my journey, watching, not only investing and doing it myself and so forth, but also watching all my clients go through that, even though I might warn them and tell things people are going to learn on their own sometimes, which is okay. But it is the most valuable piece, is to really know who you're partnering with. If you're in a partnership for 3 to 5 years, how do they communicate with you? Right. Are they okay when you ask a lot of questions because you need to feel comfortable with the investment? That is super important. So yeah, I'd love you to stack on that, Amy, because I'm sure you experienced a lot of that yourself.
My answer is identical, especially if, let's say, maybe you're not the underwriter, you know how to underwrite, but you're partnering up and linking arms with somebody and you're saying, I'm going to help you operate this deal, but I'm also going to invite my network into investing alongside of us. You better make sure that's someone that you trust, because you're transferring your reputation, your relationship onto your business partners, right?
There you go.
So,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
absolutely. So are these people, just as Don said, acting with integrity? What does their track record look like? Are they willing to communicate? Are they kind people, or do
Are
they
they
treat
kind?
people, right? I mean, kindness goes a long way. And of course the returns, that's important, but let's be honest, something that isn't talked about in our industry enough, underwriting is our best projection. We do our best, but how many deals actually, to the T, you're the engineer, Don, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
exact, right?
There's a
there's
lot
some,
of factors that go into the projections,
yeah,
and
there can
even
be a
with
variance.
the takeover at acquisition, how conservative you are with your numbers.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different things. And, I feel very fortunate. You don't have to be an engineer, but you do
Yeah.
want to be able to look at things and identify if things seem too good to be true. You hate to say
Mm,
that, but you got to see, oh, where are we at now for income? And they think we're going to be here in a year,
yeah.
or this is the occupancy. We think this is going to be here. You want to do a little bit of your own, and that's the beauty of multifamily.
Mm,
It's cash flow. It's easy. It's income and expense. Not easy. It's simple.
yeah.
Income and expenses, and then the cash left over is what the property has. Most people can understand that concept. Where if I'm investing in a company, right, and I might actually get a hard asset, I don't know how to look at Amazon or all these different stocks and how to evaluate that. So I would say, yeah, that's pretty good. I think
Yeah,
it's really
really well
important to know.
said. Well, in the capital raising space, Don, and I'd love to hear what you think, but this business can grow exponentially. You've got one person, and you mentioned this earlier, that invests, they've got a good experience, they've got friends. Things can grow, but if you're partnered and linked up with people that aren't communicating well, that don't do what they say that they're going to do, not kind, they don't feel trustworthy, your ability to grow your capital raising business is going to be hindered tremendously. So,
Yeah.
yes, the deal is important, but my goodness, the people, the reputation, and yeah, the other sponsors are incredibly important. I love that you bring that up, Don. That is not talked about enough
No,
in
I don't see
space.
it talked about that much either. And
Right.
and getting back to people, the better they communicate and get back to you, the better you can. You're the liaison. This is your network to be able to get back to your investors. And even if I can't get back, sometimes say I got your email. It's been 24 hours, and I'll try to say, give me a day or two. The person's trapped, whatever it is. But communication is the key. Or if something goes wrong, I found a lot of, and I coach some people that's happened to where things go wrong sometimes. It's investing.
It
It's not, you're
happens.
not getting 0.001%. A lot of times the projections are 18-20% AAR,
Yeah.
or making 100% return in 5 or 6 years. There is some speculation. There's conservative speculation, and there's over optimistic speculation.
Yeah.
But, there's definitely some things that can go wrong. You want that communication. It's okay if something happens, if with the management and so forth. But if someone communicates that with me and keeps me informed, because once you don't, guess what? People's minds are going everywhere. Even if distributions go down $50, they're like, "Oh, do we have a bad quarter?" You
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yeah. And the absence of information, people are going to make up their own story. And
That's
you
right.
might as well be the one that's telling people
Controlling the
that
narrative.
information. Absolutely. But I love that you talk about this kind of busy thing, Don. I will always remember you saying, everyone's busy, right? You know exactly where I'm going to go
Oh,
with
yeah, I
this,
get it
right?
all the time, and I love it. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like, well, I'll just say a hard ass. Okay, I feel like that. When I say that to people, but I'm gonna let you say it, and then I'll
Yeah,
share
let me
mine.
know if I get it right. But it was basically the effect of everyone's busy. You have to properly communicate if it's not a priority, right? So just because someone's not getting back to you, they're not communicating, it's not an excuse to be busy. We're all busy, but where are you ranking your priorities and being transparent with people? If something isn't a priority, hey, be honest, be
Yeah,
upfront.
yeah,
Did I get it right, Don? Am I
yeah.
right?
And you're
Did I
you're a
pass
little
the test?
you're a little nicer and kinder and softer than I am. So,
Okay.
but the way I train it is I said, well, all right, listen, one of the key things you can do to grow is let's get busy out of your vocabulary and say not a priority. If
Yeah.
my buddies ask me to go out and have some beers on Thursday night, my son has a hockey game, I tell them I'm busy because
Yeah.
it's a kind thing to say. But in
Yes.
reality, it's not a priority. My son's hockey game is more of a priority to me
Yeah.
than going out and having a few beers. I can do that anytime. I want to see my son's game, right? It's
Yeah.
priority. But I can say, oh, sorry, guys, not a priority, right? They're going to say, oh, he's a jerk, right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking to yourself,
Mhm.
you don't tell yourself you're too busy. You're not right now. Listen, we all get jammed up. So I'm not saying that I get jammed up. So I feel bad sometimes. I just not, I, when it's 5 hours, I still couldn't get back to everybody.
Yeah.
But it's not on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Say, I'm jammed, give me till Friday. That's it. That's my text. And I know it's important and I don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah.
And sometimes emergencies come up, people get sick, it doesn't matter. But don't fool yourself. I get that. That's the biggest thing I get on all my, I'm so busy over the last 2 weeks. And that's what I started Amy with. Okay, well, let me just share something with you. Coach posted 2,000 or over. I don't know the exact number. Guess what? Everybody was busy. My mother's retired 7, 8 years ago. My mother's busier than everyone. She's retired. When she first retired, she goes, "Oh, I'm so busy." I go, "You don't have work."
Oh my gosh. But it's that mindset piece that you teach. It goes back to that, right? How we talk to
Yeah.
ourselves, how we talk to others. Are we gaslighting ourselves? Are we living in reality?
Yeah.
We can't
Well,
get to our goals if we're not
this is
anchored in
the
reality.
most important part, and you know this, Amy. It's not the real estate. It's this. What we're talking about. This is the nuts and bolts of the business. Sometimes I get the opportunity to speak in front of a lot of people and stuff, and I'm talking about some of this stuff, goals and planning and mindset, and they're all looking like, all right, dude, let's get to the meat. I want the real estate. This is a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And they don't realize, and I tell them that. I said, I see how all you guys are looking at me right now. And I said, guess what? This is the meat. This is what you're looking for. This is the information. You don't do this, you will not have success. I'll
Nope.
talk to you about real estate till I'm blue in the face, right?
Yeah. You'll never get anywhere without that. Yeah. You are spinning your wheels and you can't figure out why you're in a ditch. And it's because you didn't listen to Don's mindset and,
Well,
and
not just
planning
me,
and all
but
that.
you got to be coachable no matter who's coaching you. You got to, hey, listen, if you want different results in life and you want to be a different person, you've never made $20,000 a month passive income before, you're going to change who you are.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. You're going to change or being willing to grow and change your habits. You can't keep doing things the same way, or people come up with unrealistic expectations. Oh, I want to be a millionaire in a year. Well, I tell them this ain't get rich quick. You can make a lot of money. I have students that are millionaires at this point
Oh, yeah.
and decimillionaires, but there's a process to it, and you can get there if you keep doing the things you're supposed to be doing. Then you'll get there. But so being a fundraiser and stuff, it's the same thing. That's the mindset you want to have. We get some no's along the way. Don't get discouraged. There's billions of people out there with money. Keep refining yourself, getting on Amy's podcast and other podcasts you find value in. Because what I love about this is she's getting really into the nuts and bolts. And I listen to some of hers. And it's funny because every time I talk to her, just because I've had some big transitions in my life in the last 6 months, but I'm going to get back and go back and listen to her podcast that I wasn't able to get on. Why? Because either herself or the people she brings on, the nuggets are there, even for me, because you need the reminder. It's not a one-time thing. It's over and over, and you're either filling yourself with negative stuff, which happens a lot during the course of our day, or the positive things, right? And something that's going to help us grow. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to be open to growing from whoever shares good information.
Exactly. We don't water the plant once. Like, hey, you've
No.
already watered. No,
Yeah.
we're keep
No.
watering it. We water it with new information, with our relationships, with being a student forever. So I appreciate you saying that. And I hate that we're out of time, Don. We'd
Yeah.
love to have you on again, but thank
All
you
right,
so much
yeah.
for joining us. There are going to be a lot of people who want to reach out to you. Can you tell us how they can get in touch with you, how you can help folks? I want to make sure
Sure.
people know, and maybe they can benefit the way I have.
Yeah.
From working with you.
Well, the easiest way would be, so my company is Next Level Capital. You can see that. That's probably the easiest way for you to remember. I have multiple companies on coaching and so forth. So, but I'll give you, my email is don@nextlevelcapital.com. And there are dashes between each word. So it's next-level-capital.com. And and I have the same for the website. So if you want to get in touch with me, there is a calendar on there if you have questions or whatever. Or my cell is 401-450-5200, 401-450-5200. But send me a text. Don't, usually if you call, I'm not going to pick up. And here's the reason: I'll get nothing done. Right. And you can
Yes.
attest to that for yourself, Amy, is that you get nothing done if you pick up the phone all day. So right now I will get back to you if I can help you or not, whatever, but I will get back to you. And thank you so much, Amy, for having me on, and I'd gladly jump on again with you.
Oh, thanks again. We'll put your email and your phone and your website in the show notes. So in case folks are driving
Okay.
or something, don't panic. It's in the show notes. I encourage you all to reach out to Don. As I said, he's made a tremendous difference in my life, my real estate career. I would not be where I am without him. So thank you again, friend. I'm so glad we've kept in touch.
Same
and
here.
looking forward to, continuing to help people, which you
Yeah.
love doing.
Yeah, same here. So as new things come up for me, there's always things changing and so forth. I love collaborating together, and it's great to work with like-minded people. And so thanks again, Amy. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye for now. Hey, if your 2025 didn't go as you planned, the question isn't what goals should I set for 2026? It should be, what should I be doing before the real estate deals show up? I just closed a 4-property portfolio in Oklahoma, 498 units. My partners and I raised $12 million. 83% of the capital that I raised came from people that I did not know 3 years ago. I didn't know most of these people just 1 year ago. Your friends and family are completely tapped out and flying all over the country, going to conferences, trying to raise capital from other people who are trying to raise capital from you. Come on, we know it's no longer working. I created a 4-step system that works to help you increase your capital raising capacity in just 90 days, to dramatically increase the number of people who know who you are, to give them the opportunity to decide whether or not they like you without doing one-on-one calls. And when they book calls with you, they say, I feel like I already know you and I'm ready to wire money to your next deal. Learn more at capitalraisingsecrets.com. That's capitalraisingsecrets.com, and apply to see if you're a good fit for our 8-week on-demand course. Looking forward to seeing you there.